Welcome to our reflection for Holy Saturday. Today is a time of watching and waiting. We know how the story ends, but of course, on that first Easter, the disciples didn't know, and so at this time, they were still grieving. Even though Jesus had told them what would happen, they didn't really understand, and perhaps didn't really believe. Our Bible reading today is a response to after Jesus had cleansed the temple. He went into the temple and sent out the money exchangers, the people who were selling animals, and the market traders. The Jews questioned his authority, and in response, he reveals his identity as to who he is by saying that he would be raised in 3 days. But of course, they didn't really understand. I don't think any of them understood. And the disciples didn't understand either, and maybe this hindered their believing. After the event, though, after the resurrection, they did believe. They did see all that was happening, and they understood. So our reading today comes from John chapter 2, verses 18 to 22. The Jews then responded to him, "What sign can you show us to prove your authority to do all this?" Jesus answered them, "Destroy this temple, and I will raise it again in 3 days." They replied, "It has taken 46 years to build this temple. Are you going to raise it in 3 days?" But the temple he had spoken of was his body. After he was raised from the dead, his disciples recalled what he had said. Then they believed the scripture and the words that Jesus had spoken. Suddenly, after the resurrection, it all becomes clear to them. I'm not going to lead you in a time of prayer today, but invite you into personal prayer. I invite you to get alongside the disciples of that first Easter in their time of grief, and to get alongside them in their ponderings and in their thoughts, as they must have been thinking about Jesus' actions and his words. I invite you into a time of watching and waiting.